was January 1st, 2019, and the world of pro wrestling was starving for some renewed life. And along comes AEW All Elite Wrestling. That's right, it took Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, along with the co-owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, one Tony Khan, to create that new life that we so desperately clamored for. But that was not the only thing the world of pro wrestling was introduced to, but a young upstart whose last name was already synonymous with the world of entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special presentation from When Geeks Collide. I am Jeff Tyler Smith, aka Ontario Independent Wrestling Personality Kyle Davenport. Join me today as we take a closer look at my most anticipated of the AEW wrestling action figures, the boy, the myth, and sure to be legend, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. Born June 16, 1997, Jack Perry would come to the wrestling world under the ring name of Nate Coy in 2015. The concept of Jungle Boy was later encouraged by fan reaction to his natural chiseled good looks, free-flowing long hair, and his sharp-moving Adonis structure. Jungle Boy would be signed with AEW right from its inception in January 2019, and would be featured from the get-go on their inaugural Double or Nothing pay-per-view in May. And from there, along with Luchasaurus, the boy and his dinosaur even had Marco Stunt as Jurassic Express to continue to be a solidified presence in the company, facing many teams, including that of the Elite, the Young Bucks.
Jungle Boy wasn't just a tag team competitor, but a qualified singles wrestler who didn't shy away from the company's mainstream talent. Notably, he has worked with some of the company's finest in Chris Jericho, MJF, Cody Rhodes, Rey Fenix, and more recently, former TNT champion Darby Allin. It was this year that Jungle Boy finally overcame his opposition on the grand stage, winning the Casino Battle Royale and earning himself a #1 contendership against the man who fans and critics claim is the best wrestler in the world, Kenny Omega. Around February 2020, it was announced that AEW would have its first series of action figures in a line called AEW Unrivaled. Produced by Jazwares, currently the 6th leading toy company in the world, the anticipation was on for who on the roster would make that journey into toy form. For myself, well, Matt Jackson and Brandy Rhodes were must-haves, and Sammy Guevara was a sure bet. My admiration for Jungle Boy was starting to take shape, and I hoped that sooner or later, that was the action figure that would be announced.
While 2020 was a tough year, 2021 kicked off with the announcement that I was waiting for, and many other fans. That's right, the Unrivaled collection would see Series 5, and in that Series 5 was Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy. Right there, with pre-orders going up on Ringside Collectibles February 16th, it was within that first hour that I locked in mine, and many fans all over did the same. With Jungle Boy prominently featured on AEW programming, the weeks continued to pass by as we got closer to spring. His fan support growing at an unprecedented rate. May 26th was the day FedEx brought that Ringside Collectibles shipment, and Jungle Boy joined the ranks of my AEW Unrivaled action figure collection. Let's take a closer look at the unboxing of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. May 26th, 6:50 p.m. and it has arrived at long last. A couple months. This is it from Ringside Collectibles. This is the big one. Part 1, the most anticipated.
This is the equivalent of the Holy Grail right here.
Ooh.
Look at this. Okay. We are talking Luchasaurus. Look at how awesome that is. And we're going to get into this later in the video, but I wanted to get this unboxing. Okay. Luchasaurus is one thing. Now let's talk the real deal here. There it is. Holy shit. That is amazing. Obviously, could not get just one. Have to keep one in package. And we're going to really look into these. We're going to look at the articulation, the detail, try to get a bit of background into it. But this is amazing. This is part one, because the Jurassic Express set is still to come. But I wanted to capture even the unboxing of this magic on video. And so here they are, out of the FedEx box, and we're nearing that moment of actual unboxing. Jungle Boy I've saved for the Double or Nothing weekend, but Luchasaurus I'm going to open up pretty soon. So here we are, number 41 and 42 in AEW Unrivaled Collections Series 5, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Two fan favorites as part of Jurassic Express. A long time coming. Fans were definitely, they waited out those first four series for them, and now the day had come. For now, though, as far as the packaging goes, it arrived perfectly in the box. The foil stamp lettering that Jazwares does really stands out great, especially that shiny gold. It adds a classier touch and detail if you are keeping your figures in package and on the wall or on display. As they say, no man is an island, and no boy was complete without his dinosaur. Luchasaurus is an eye-catchy and immensely popular AEW wrestler. The figure initially sold out upon pre-order on Ringside Collectibles. So it's rather fitting that we take a little bit of a closer look at Luchasaurus before we move on to the main event of the program. If we look at Luchasaurus by himself here, which I'm going to open shortly, you almost don't want to open it. There's a reason this sold out so quick on Ringside Collectibles, that's for sure, on that pre-order day. And you just look at the details of this and the way the lighting shows. I mean, it reflects well in the package. There you can see number 41. Getting a closer look. The temptation is right there to just rip this package open, because you want to take a closer look at that mask. You really want to get to the details, and we're going to get to the details of this figure, and then obviously move on to Jungle Boy. But look at that, just the pink grip there and the laces. Be interesting to see if if there's any movement to the wristbands, and then how the arms move. I think they're probably pretty flexible, because you're going to want that with your Luchasaurus figure. And then, of course, you want him to be able to hold the Jungle Boy figure as well. So now the box, of course, shows the complete Series 5 with Moxley, Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian being first time in the line as well, Hangman Adam Page, and then fan favorites Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. With some of the packaging on the earlier figure, I think it might have been Kazarian or Sky, the writing of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus was actually in white. So I found that as an interesting variant on one of the other figures. But now we move up, and all the packaging has definitely a reference photo. Talks about the pay-per-view or Dynamite date that they appeared on. Here we have Double or Nothing 2019 with Luchasaurus's printed signature. And I love how they do that, because if you keep it in box, great. Like me, I also, opening them, I do cut these out and I keep them with the bin of figures so that I can have them if they're a particular figure that I'm not keeping in package. And what a great added value for your collector's market as well. So it's really great detail to see that. It doesn't show much of his gear. Leaves Luchasaurus pretty versatile in that respect, but you can see the mask there really shines in that photo. And I think that detail transferred well onto the figure. So let's have a quick look at the Luchasaurus figure. As you can see, the details in the mask, the sculpting, his tongue, his beard even has some green in it, the scaling on the mask and the horns, and then you get to his signature green braid and long hair, all fine points of detail there. You can even see on the mask, the strap is sculpted into the hairline, so there's no half-ass paint job or paint over. Look at the details there. You can see some of the chin strap on his skin, his face, his ear, and then the mask, of course, does not come off. Then we get down to the torso, and it has some swivel joints, but look at this tattoo application here. The vines actually almost remind me of the Walmart exclusive Dino Damage dinosaurs, just the way, it almost looks like tissue. Which it could be, but I think it's all flowers and vines. Either way, very cool and very reflective of the actual Luchasaurus markings. And then his arms, traditionally they all go up and swivels there in the abdomen area. Not too much movement, as opposed to the rest of the AEW line. He does go side to side, and I know Luchasaurus is pretty agile, but I don't think it's too distracting, especially because the arms, yes, it his bicep there does block it a bit, but you get the other stuff. You do get the hands. You get multiple sets of hands. You can see the laces there and the leather pattern in his wristbands. These wristbands do not come off. They're on there. And the painted fingertips, again, all the movement you need there for different poses. You do get it, so it's not too much of a hindrance. Even here, just very limited movement in the waist, and I don't think that's this belt. It's a very light plastic, almost rubbery belt, which I don't think is hindering that movement, but the legs move fine. And there we get a closer look at the knee pads and the print on the tights. Now here's what I wanted to talk about. It does hinder here. The knee pads, these are exclusive to Luchasaurus. You see the tassel bits on the back, but you can't bend that leg back around. So just an interesting note there that for Luchasaurus, you're going to have a very strong stance, but you're not going to get much movement. Certainly he'll do his tail whip kick, which I'll show in a bit. Here's his feet gear. Unlike Ortiz, it's painted all around, which is very reflective of Luchasaurus himself. There's a tail whip kick we can do. So, all in all, the flexibility is there, which, I've continuously said. And the figure itself is just a phenomenal wrestling figure, minus that knee pad hindrance.
A unique aspect about Jungle Boy Jack Perry is that he is a second-generation star in the entertainment medium. While wrestling has seen multi-generational families take to the ring, Jungle Boy is the son of beloved Hollywood and television icon, the late Luke Perry. Just as Jungle Boy does on AEW every week, Luke Perry graced fans on television screens weekly as Dylan McKay on Beverly Hills 90210, and he also starred on the newer series, the CW's Riverdale. This performance gene was naturally born into Jack Perry, and no doubt serves as an asset to his charisma and charm.
So it's a Wednesday night, and Dynamite's not on tonight, but we're driving from Niagara to Hamilton, so I could pick up a 1990s Luke Perry Dylan doll from 90210, which surprisingly I didn't have, and I thought it was a really appropriate part of this project and video, because I have some ideas for the photography and just to integrate it, the generations and father and son. I'm really, really happy. I'm lucked out at 4 a.m. that I went on Facebook Marketplace and I was able to make a deal with somebody. So it's very cool. We'll check back in when I get it to have a quick look at it. Remember, here we are. Well, there it is. Wow, look at the quality of this. Like, it's just clean it up a bit. Look at that. Right there. Dylan McKay, Luke Perry. Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. You can see the resemblance. Well, I'll probably talk about the articulation after. That's uncanny. That's cool. Because I'm a 90210 fan too, right? Awesome. Yeah, this is going to work well.
This also makes for a dyad in the toy universe, as it serves as a unique time when both father and son have a doll or an action figure, yet they performed on two entirely different entertainment platforms.
Alright, so here he is, Jungle Boy, number 42, Series 5. Let's take a further look here of him in the package. Bubble pack looks great. As I said, you know, all the AEWs look fine in their presentation. It's a simplistic presentation, but presentation nevertheless. Jungle Boy himself here, he's in some of his earlier gear. It's very neutral tones, so you think jungle, you think lush, vibrant greens, which certainly Luchasaurus does. But Jungle Boy here, very earth tones. But I don't mind that at all. And then he has his other gear, which I'll mention another set later about that. So all in all, you know, it shows off the accessories. He comes with an additional hand for both left and right. And there's nothing hiding of the figure. You see exactly, you know, what you're going to get, and you definitely want to just dive into it. What a great shot. Whew. Great match, too, from Dynamite, October 16th, 2019. Talking about him versus Ray Phoenix there in that moment. Aubrey Edwards in the back. And look at that signature, the Jungle Boy. I like how the J and the B blend together in the signature. I'd never seen the signature before. But what a great shot. Again, cut it out. Keep it if you're opening the figure. And if you're not, then you have it anyway. So fantastic packaging and color tones. I know sometimes they actually change some of the color around the edges, but not in this case. And I think it's a great reference photo as well, because it's going to show what the figure can do, you know, as far as the posability and flexibility of the joints. One final overlook here of Jungle Boy in his packaging. You know, they don't shy away from showing you everything of the figure, accessories, very clear. You can see a hint, you know, at all the details and the sculpting that they got, the pose picture on the side. And, you know, what I'm going to say praise a lot in this video, because I do. I do praise Jungle Boy. I do praise Jack Perry. I am obviously a fan and supporter of his work. I believe strongly in him. I think All Elite Wrestling has capitalized well on obtaining him. He has a star potential because you believe in him. And I know others have said that, but it's truly somebody you can get behind. And I feel that he is such an important and vital factor to the stability and longevity of the business, personally and professionally. Okay, so maybe I have a little bit of favoritism and a touch of bias towards Jungle Boy, and you might not take my word on it. So how about I share the comments that I reached out to another strong voice of the wrestling community and critic, host of Sunday night's main event, formerly of Live Audio Wrestling. This is Jason Agnew, and he shared this with me about his perspective on Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy is the next Ricky Steamboat. He is a classic babyface that still appeals and excels in the modern-day wrestling landscape. it breathe.
But up next, we will
Letting
hear
him
from
breathe.
AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks,
First time.
John Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
Look at you, John Moxley.
Time for double or
I
nothing.
think you're so tough, though, because he wears a tank top backstage with jeans, and he tapes his wrists, and he punches really hard. He throws really hard haymakers.
Alright, so now we're taking a closer look at the action figure of Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and you get right into the face sculpt and detail. You get his sideburns there. Paint application is flawless, something Jazwares continues to excel upon. You see the different shades of paint in his hair, showing the natural weave and curl, but just those color tones there. You see on his eyebrows, sideburns, lips, right in his eyes, and he does have, you know, that kind of serious tone on his face. So with the eyebrows like that, you could see that the eyes could have difficulty getting that paint, but it is spot on. So it's right there. Great job. Moving down to the torso, it's a very Darby Allin style that the Jazwares does, but it's perfect for Jungle Boy. He flexes there. Just notice it has that little bit of a gap, so you don't want to bend it back too far. It's just distracting, but otherwise very, very flexible, which Jungle Boy needs to be because the playability has to be there, and you definitely get that here in the arms. You don't get either that clicking sound, which some of the other figures do, and all the bendability here, very, very loose, so not too tight. That's great for the figure because, again, if he's locking in moves, here you can switch his hands out. The wristbands do come off, which is interesting. I don't see why you'd want to take them off, but, you know, it's that option there. And then it just easily plugs back in, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. And same with this side as well. Very, very flexible. You can see the detail there on the wristbands, laces, paint app. You can do his pose, his lookout pose. You've seen different pictures of that throughout the video. And that's definitely something you need to, which Jazwares does. They take into consideration these signature poses like this, you know. Rather than have me talk about facial sculpting and posing and how Jazwares captured it, why don't I have Jack Perry, Jungle Boy himself, in his own words, and I'll share with you his comments to me about that. The process was really cool. We had our faces scanned by this super cool 3D scanner machine and made different faces for it. Then we had a bunch of angles of us in our gear. They really made sure to get all the tiny details. Very cool. So yeah, as you can see, that process of the 3D scanning and the way they do capture everything. Speaking of capturing, here's his gear. Now this is very early Jungle Boy gear, which he certainly wore. Then we get down to the legs. Again, thighs swivel here, but look at the detail. You can say it's a basic action figure, but when you kind of see the sculpting of the tassels and the feet here, even the knee pads, it does come around. But look at this, the paint app, the tiny blue dots and scaling look, even a bit there just on the heel. But look at all that very intricate sculpting, multiple tassels all around, and it continues. So it's not like they just do one side. They continue the paint speckle all throughout the leg area. The knee pads are exclusive to Jungle Boy. No one else has these knee pads, and they are great for him. But the only problem is, again, the leg is not going to stay back, which flexibility is great, again, because you do want him to have him posed, but his legs just won't stay if you need his leg to be bent back like that, depending on the move or the photography that you're doing, or if you're just a kid playing around with it. But either way, fantastic figure, and there's nothing but praise I can continue to give to this, much like the wrestler himself. You know, you could say it's a basic figure, but that's what the wrestling figure should be. So there it is, the signature Jurassic Express entrance pose. You can see Luchasaurus can hold the legs there, but I'm just going to hold the arms for a moment to discuss. So lots of balance. Luchasaurus does have the balance, so if he is standing in the ring, you can, you know, pose them in that shot, as you can see. And Jungle Boy rides in to the awaiting
Audience cheer and reaction as he goes into his matches. Always a strong presence of Jungle Boy. Talked about the presence of the Luchasaurus figure. Together. When toys have presence, that's what you want. If you're a kid playing with them, you've got your imagination. You can hear the audience. If it's a heel, they're booing face. But these toys here, they have a character to them. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, they're fan favorites because they have character to them. They have range, and they can speak to the audience. And kids, and even adults, because there's just a gravity to them. And Jazwares has captured this in the action figures so well that you can continue to just play with them. You can have them on your shelf. If you're having guests over, and they think you're a real toy geek, well, they look at these guys and they're like, whoa, who are these guys? Tell us more about them. So I think that's what's very cool about these particular figures. So there we have it. An up-close look at Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, the Series 5 AEW Unrivaled action figure. How about it? I think we gave it a pretty good look, and I think it really conveys just how amazing that action figure really is. Now when you look at Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, hell, even MJF, they all have a couple different action figures. How could they not for Jungle Boy? Well, they do. See, on April 28th, Ringside Collectibles announced a Ringside Collectibles exclusive, an amazing, incredible Jurassic Express 2-pack with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy in the all-out 2019 white gear that I just praised to the end, and he rarely wears it. So on to Ringside Collectibles, pre-ordered, and not just that, where the box set has Jungle Boy sitting on Luchasaurus' shoulders, but there's another variant where in the packaging, Luchasaurus is sitting on Jungle Boy's shoulders. Naturally, you had to order both, and I recommend you do the same. Now that Jurassic Express set was estimated for release in mid-June. It's almost late June now, and it's just starting to get out. But I'm very, very excited about it, as many people are, and I can't wait. So I know what you're all thinking. You're here because you like wrestling action figures. We're all toy geeks. It's on a When Geeks Collide channel. But what about the major question? The most important one. If you had an action figure of yourself, would you not be marking out? So I went right to Jungle Boy Jack Perry himself. And I said, I gotta ask, are you an action figure kid? Did you love action figures? What's your reaction to this? I'm very happy to say that I think you guys will like his response. Check it out.
I loved action figures growing up. As a kid, I was all about the toys. In summation, reflecting on Jungle Boy, the action figure itself serves as a reminder to anyone of a bright, promising future. It is a symbol of not just achieving goals, but a greater story that is still being written by this young wrestling prodigy hailing from Valley Village. Jack Perry is carving his niche into an entertainment platform once held by his father, but doing so his way, without the confines of expectations, yet still honoring the legacy of the Perry name. Rather than subject himself to living up to his father, Jack Perry carries the support he received from his dad wherever life leads, and channels that same humble disposition and grounded outlook to the here and the now. Let that be a message of inspiration and promise to us all.
And I guess that brings us to the end of the video. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth look, appreciating this particular wrestling action figure of Jungle Boy Jack Perry, along with Luchasaurus, of course. Because let's face it, All Elite Wrestling and AEW is just beginning to take off. It's taking the wrestling world by storm and preserving itself for its longevity in the future. Some say it's already changing the business, and I think with continued talent like Jungle Boy, they're going to continue to do just that. With Jungle Boy as a future world champion, and heck, he may be by the time you're watching this video, I think that AEW is safe, and our Jazwares company that we love now is going to be producing these kind of action figures for many years to come. I'm Jeff Tyler Smith. Thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe, and for more from Jungle Boy and the action figure, you can read the article on sunsetcrypt.com. Thanks very much, take care, and enjoy AEW.